You're lying in bed. It's 2 a.m. Your body is exhausted, but your mind is hosting a full board meeting. Should you change your job? Can you afford your child's coaching fees? What if your father's health worsens? Did you offend your boss in that email? And beneath all of that, one question that never gets asked out loud: when did thinking about my life become harder than actually living it? This isn't just stress. This is something structural. Something that runs through every middle-class home in India like silent electrical wiring, unnoticed until it shorts out. Today, we're going to trace that wiring, not to fix you, but to show you what's really happening and why it's not your fault. Here's what nobody tells you about being middle class in India. You are expected to be everything: a provider, a planner, a backup plan, a safety net, a role model. You're supposed to take care of aging parents while raising ambitious children, save money while inflation eats your salary, stay calm while rent, school fees, medical bills, and social expectations pile up. And here's the kicker: you're supposed to do all of this without complaining. So you don't complain, you just think. And slowly, without realizing it, your brain stops being a tool for solving problems. It becomes a machine for simulating problems, over and over and over again. And here's where it gets strange. The more you think, the less you act. Let me share this you. Why? Challenge number 1. The ambiguous authority problem. Your father wants you to buy property. Your spouse wants to switch cities. Your boss expects overtime. Your child needs expensive tutoring. Your mother needs surgery. Who do you prioritize? Trick question. You're supposed to prioritize everyone. Simultaneously, this is called role overload. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, runs on limited cognitive bandwidth, like RAM on an old laptop. When you're constantly switching between roles, employee, parent, child, spouse, breadwinner, you're running 12 programs at once, so it freezes. You stop making decisions. You start delaying them. You overthink. You second-guess. Because clarity isn't the problem, structure is. The solution to this challenge is decision boundaries. Define, on paper, not in your head, which role owns which decision. Finances, yours and your spouse's, not your parents'. Health decisions for aging parents, a shared family agreement, not one person's burden. Career moves, your call, not your relative's opinion poll. In a middle-class Indian household, this is revolutionary. Because we've been taught that good people don't set boundaries, good people adjust. But without boundaries, you're not sacrificing for others. You're sacrificing clarity for chaos. Now, let's talk about the money problem, because this one drains your nervous system. Challenge number 2. The permanent emergency economy. Middle-class life operates on one unspoken rule. There is always a crisis coming. Medical emergency, job loss, wedding, home repair, tuition hike. Your savings aren't savings. They're a defense budget against catastrophe. And your brain knows this, so it stays in threat detection mode. Constantly scanning, constantly calculating. Your amygdala doesn't distinguish between a tiger in the forest and a tuition fee you can't afford. Both trigger cortisol, both keep you awake at 2 a.m. And here's the cruelest part. You can't relax even when things are fine. Because fine feels temporary, so you overthink. You run mental simulations of disasters that haven't happened yet. Not because you're pessimistic, but because your environment has taught your brain that optimism is dangerous. The solution is: separate the emergency fund from the anxiety fund. Build a real emergency buffer, 3 to 6 months of expenses. fixed, untouchable. Once that exists, your brain has permission to stop scanning. Practice financial transparency within your household. Most middle-class families operate on financial secrecy. Everyone pretends everything is fine until it isn't. This creates information anxiety. You're worried about what you don't know. Have a monthly financial review. 10 minutes, just facts. Income, expenses, savings. No judgment. Transparency doesn't solve the crisis, but it stops the mental crisis that comes from guessing. What about the promises? The ones you made to yourself, the ones everyone made to you, the ones quietly crushing you. Challenge number 3. The inherited dream trap. Most middle-class Indians are not living their own dreams. They're living their parents' unfinished dreams, their families' sacrificed ambitions, their community's expectations. Your father couldn't become an engineer, so you did. Your mother couldn't study abroad, so you're sending your son. And somewhere in the middle of all this legacy and duty, you forgot to ask, what do I actually want? That question is terrifying, because if you ask it, you might realize you don't want what you're working toward. So you don't ask. You just keep going. You keep overthinking. You keep rationalizing. But your brain knows. And it protests. With anxiety. With fatigue. With this low-grade sense of wrongness you can't quite name. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. You call it adjusting, but it's not adjustment. It's misalignment. The solution: write down what you're actually working toward. Then ask, did I choose this, or was it chosen for me? You don't have to abandon everything, but you do need to audit your goals. Because if 70% of your life energy is going towards someone else's dream, your brain will rebel. Through overthinking, through exhaustion, through decision paralysis. Here's a radical thought: you can honor your family's sacrifices without inheriting their regrets. You can respect your parents without replicating their choices. These are not contradictions. They're boundaries. Now, the thing no one admits: the middle-class home is not a safe space. It's a performance space. Challenge number 4. The emotional labor overload. In a middle-class Indian household, someone is always managing everyone else's emotions. You're the one who keeps the peace, who smooths over arguments, who remembers everyone's needs before your own. This is called emotional labor, and it's as real as physical labor, except no one tracks it. And if you stop doing it, you're labeled selfish. Your brain pays the cost. Because emotional regulation, managing your own emotions and everyone else's, requires massive cognitive resources. And when those resources run out, you overthink, you ruminate, you replay conversations, you wonder if you failed someone. Not because you did, but because you've been trained to believe you're responsible for everyone's emotional weather. The solution: you cannot regulate other people's emotions. You can only regulate your own. Start practicing this sentence: I understand you're upset. I'm here if you need support. But I can't fix this for you. It will feel cruel at first, because you've been taught that love means absorption. But real love is not emotional fusion. It's presence without pressure. And the more you practice emotional boundaries, the more mental energy you reclaim for actual problem solving. One more: the deepest trap of all. Challenge number 5. The illusion of controllable futures. Middle-class life is built on a promise. If you work hard and make the right decisions, you will be secure. So you plan, you save, you sacrifice. And then life happens. The economy crashes, your company shuts down, your health fails, and suddenly all that planning feels useless. But instead of accepting uncertainty, You double down on planning. You think harder. You create backup plans for your backup plans. Because accepting that the future is uncontrollable feels unbearable, your brain starts treating not knowing as a threat, so it demands answers, guarantees. But life doesn't provide those, so you spiral. The solution is that you need to practice uncertainty tolerance, not through positive thinking, through deliberate exposure. Make one small decision this week without overthinking it. Pick a restaurant without reading reviews. Buy a product without comparing 10 options. Not because the decision doesn't matter, but because you need to train your brain that imperfect decisions are survivable. The middle-class obsession with perfect decisions is not wisdom. It's trauma. Trauma from growing up in scarcity. Trauma from watching parents struggle. And that trauma is valid. But it's also a cage. And the key to that cage is not more control, it's acceptance. So here's the question I want to leave you with. What if the problem isn't that you overthink? What if the problem is that you've been told your whole life that thinking is the solution? Think harder, plan better, strategize more. But what if the solution isn't more thinking? What if it's less? What if the answer isn't figuring everything out? What if it's letting some things remain unresolved? The middle-class mind has been trained to believe that uncertainty is failure. But maybe uncertainty is just life. And maybe the exhaustion you feel isn't from thinking too little. Maybe it's from trying to think your way out of something that was never meant to be solved. Just controlled. If this video made you feel seen, if it put words to something you've been carrying silently, hit that like button, because it tells me this matters. And if you know someone, a friend, a sibling, a parent, who's trapped in this same loop, share this with them. Widely, maximum reach, because the middle class doesn't talk about this. We just endure it. And maybe it's time we stopped enduring alone. Subscribe to Silent Storm Inside if you want more like this. No fluff, no false hope, just honest conversations about what it actually feels like to be human right now. And I'll see you in the next storm soon.